To learn the box, every fighter needs a good coach. The man training this boxer is Canto Robledo. Canto was a fighter himself. He began coaching in 1940, and he was good at it. When Canto finishes working in the ring, his son is there to help him. Canto Robledo is the only blind boxing coach in the world.
Come here 6 days a week, because there's nothing really to do out on the street but get in trouble.
He's just a person that you like to meet and know and, be around with.
He's taught me everything I know. He's a nice man. Me and him are real tight. It's fun. He's like a father to me. Me and him are real close.
He gets the best of you, and you walk away with a sense of sunshine that's kind of radiating out of this man that somehow, some way, kind of filters into your life. And you start to think, geez, can that man really be blind?
Left, right, left. Show me you trust. There in your hands, the power to fight.
Canto Robledo was born in Tyrone, New Mexico on January 16, 1913. He and his family, seeking a better life, left New Mexico and journeyed west to Pasadena, California. It was there that a 12-year-old Canto became obsessed with boxing.
My dad started training at the old Pasadena arena at the age of 12 years old, and he did very well. He entered in a couple of what we call smokers, backroom boxing events, usually held in the garage. From there, he did very well and entered into the Golden Gloves and won that as a young man, and decided that he wanted to turn professional. My dad's first professional fight was against Johnny Kabuku. It was a 4-round affair. Canto won on a split decision that particular night. He recalled to me one night that his father and Canto had gone out to a restaurant to have some pie and ice cream to celebrate his victory, and that my dad took one bite of the pie and his jaw was extremely sore. And he knew that he couldn't eat any pie or ice cream.
As a newly professional fighter, Canto saw quick success, starring and winning main events. Now earning between $200 and $300 a fight. A far cry from the meager payouts he received at the beginning of his career. It seemed like nothing could stop Canto from fulfilling his lifelong dream. The next step could only be a title bout with the reigning world champion, Panama Al Brown. But in the sport of boxing, your eyes are just as important as your hands. Canto noticed his left eye wasn't as clear. He was beginning to see shadows, so he wanted to have his eye checked before his next fight. Tom Donahue, his manager, had a completely different idea.
The last fight he really didn't want to take because he had an intuition that something wasn't right. And he had told his manager, Tom Donahue, I'm not ready for this fight, Tom. Can we wait a while? I need to have my eyes looked at. And Tom pleaded with Canto and said, if we can win this fight, Canto, you will fight Panama Al Brown in Paris, France. And that's where the big money is, Canto. We need this win, we need this fight. So reluctantly, my father took the fight.
It was the Hilo Hernandez fight that would change the course of Canto Robledo's life forever. During the third round, Canto lost vision in his left eye. And before the fight was over, the vision in his right eye was gone as well.
He finished the fight to win the decision and continued to be the state title holder. He instructed his manager to rush him to the dressing room to get him away from all the crowd and the press. Immediately he told Tom Donahue, "I can't see."
Tom Donahue rushed Canto to an unlicensed underground doctor. After several botched procedures, the doctor determined that both retinas had detached. Feeling that nothing further could be done essentially, Canto Robledo's boxing career was over. Canto Robledo's new life was one filled with struggle. A long, sad, and tearful battle with depression.
My father realized that life wasn't really what he had planned. From being on top of the pinnacle to down into the deep, deep bottom of depression, he felt he wanted to end his life.
His plan was simple: step out into oncoming traffic and make it look like an accident. Hearing the distinct sounds of a truck rumbling down Colorado Boulevard, Canto waited until the truck was right upon him. Then, he stepped off the curb.
Fortunately, the truck clipped him and put him in the curb. And he laid there for a while, thinking that he was dead, until a small child's hand lifted him up, put his hand in my father's hand, Canto, and told him, "It'll be all right, Canto. You have things to do. I will take you home and guide you. Let me be your guide and your guard." And from that moment on, the angel that was sent to my father took him home. And my mother, she remembers hearing, or she told me, a wisp of wind that seemed to go by her, almost like something of a message. She went to the front door, and there she found my father, clean, not bleeding, seemed to be okay, and not drunk. And he told her, "I got home because the angel brought me home." My mother stepped out, looked on the porch, looked down the driveway, looked up and down the sidewalk. There was no one. No one to be seen. And from that moment on, my father changed his life. He became the man that he is, or that he was.
Come on, Timmy! Keep your hands up! All right, let's go.
Go ahead, Joe.
All right. No, you're up, you're up, you're up! You're up, you're up!
Jimmy, what? The man's throwing punches like this. What the hell are you doing? Work inside, man. He's wild.
I'm trying hard to stay inside.
Hell, the guy's throwing punches from a mile away.
You gotta work your way inside.
Work inside.
Let him jab and work in there. Then when you get in there, put that combination through.
See, Timmy, the guy's wild, Timmy. The guy's wild. You got to work inside to that body, Timmy. You got to work your body. Spit it out.
Inside, Timmy. Come on, stay. Work with him.
Right there, inside, inside. Showing your punches out. Work inside.
Tell him uppercut.
Uppercut him, uppercut him.
Uppercut, Timmy, uppercut.
Bring him up, Timmy, bring him up.
With the help of his brothers, Canto built a small gym in his garage, the birth of the Crown City Stables.
When he went into training, certainly after he gave his own boxing career, his brothers built him a gym in his backyard. And then it caught on rapidly. Different fighters in the neighborhood came over to watch his brothers, Seth and Joe, train. And then they would start training there, and it just caught on. It was a small little gym. The first one he had was a little garage but it had a real good boxing atmosphere because there was always boxers in there working out, and some were 10-rounders. So it was a beehive for boxing in those days.
The gym's popularity was growing. Boxers were coming from all around to see how a blind man trained.
It was exciting. It was fun. We learned so much because when we first started there, Canto would get into the ring and show us how to move on his feet. He would actually put his hands on our shoulders and kind of twist us, how to throw a right hand, how to throw a jab, how to throw body punches, how to pivot. And we didn't even we were young, we didn't even think of a blind man can do it. We just were fascinated, and he would, older man moving around on his feet, showing us footwork and how to move and box, and it was exciting.
At the height of its popularity, the Crown City Boxing Stables produced some of the best fighters in Los Angeles. But there was one fighter Canto believed would stand out from all the rest. Joey Oliveira, the Pasadena Kid.
Wanted to be Bruce Lee when I was a young kid, everybody who's, baby boomers, wanted to be Bruce Lee. But then I saw the movie Rocky, when I was 17, and wanted to be Rocky then. So I got into that, asked my cousin, do you know if there's any boxing gyms around Pasadena? Because your father used to fight professionally in Mexico. And so he goes, well, I don't know, but I'll ask my father and we'll see what happens. Like a month later, he told me, hey, I found this gym. I'm working out at this gym. And I go, what? He goes, you're working out there? And he goes, yeah. And he goes, I go, man, that's punk. I wanted, why didn't you tell me? He goes, well, there's a catch. And I go, what do you mean there's a catch? He goes, well, it's a blind man teaching. And I go, a blind man? Well, how does a blind man teach? And he goes, well, he's been teaching me for a month. So I go, well, go check this out. So I met Canto, and we ended up being real tight. He ended up, being like a father to me.
Ladies and gentlemen, on the advice of our ringside physician, referee Rudy Jordan stops the bout. The winner by a technical knockout in the end of the 6th round, Joey, the Pasadena Kid, Oliveira.
On October 4th, 1987, Joey Oliveira, the Pasadena Kid, had delivered Canto his first champion.
I'm sure for the first time you got a state championship. Canto, how does it feel to have a state champion in California here?
I was once a state champion. He feels like $1 million. I couldn't say no more. He did a job and a half. He did it with his left and he listened to his corners, and that's what counts. Armando, I'm the happiest guy in the world tonight. He said he would win this title for me tonight. He's my first champion of my fighters.
It's a great win for Canto Robledo, of course. Joey Oliveira, new state champion. And Joey, maybe things will start going your way now. We congratulate you. You fought a heck of a great fight, and we wish you the best of success in the future.
Yeah, thank you very much. And everybody at Pasadena and Harper's Livery, this one's for you.
Alright, what's today? Okay, today's Merry Christmas. Everybody's on videotape. Okay, starting to clockwise at 10 o'clock high is Canto Robledo. To his immediate left is, check that again, to his immediate right is his lovely wife. Moncho Robledo, hello, how are you today?
Boxing is a solitary sport. Families, on the other hand, are a team. Standing by Canto's side, always, was the love of his life.
Her name was Concha Robledo, or they used to call her other name was Connie. My mother was a very loving person too, but she was tough. She just made sure my dad ate, made sure he was dressed. My dad was a very fussy dresser. He loved cashmere jackets, $15 socks, pair of socks. He was just all the time well-dressed, and she took good care of him. She, you know, she was his ice. I don't know where he would have been without my mom.
Like I mentioned, my mother was my father's eyesight, and in a sense that she saw everything for him and was able to relate to my father what he wanted to know. Many times my mother would go to the arenas when my father had boxers fighting or professional fighters fighting. She of course got a program, and she would write down notes on the program about the bout, who was the aggressor, who was the winner. She would make little notes for them, and she kept notes throughout the entire fight. So she was able to read a lot of those signs and relate that back to my dad. And then he would then realize what fighter he had in the gym, and that style he knew could beat the fighter that maybe had fought the week before.
I'm not saying this because she's my mom, but she was just the best, the best. My dad never went without, we never went without. I don't know how she did it. You know, she just drove to LA, this, that, fighters, ironing their clothes before the fight, you know, pressing their robes and their trunks, you know. It just a great mom.
Oh, big girl. Take it, dude. Take it. Merry Christmas. How old are you today, Bob?
Well, he gave us a hell of a hard time, you know, because he didn't want to move out to any of our houses. He wanted to stay there. And I think Joe stayed there for about a year. And then one of my sons and his wife stayed there for 8 or 9 months. We had, you know, all this, but he just insisted because he kind of let the gym not go, but he just didn't have that anymore right now anyway. So he finally agreed to stay with Joe for a while, and then we would take turns on weekends, and then my sister would have this one back and forth, back and forth. So finally he wound up staying with me. It was very difficult, you know, because he had a lot of depressed days. You know, he would go out to this back door and call for my mom. Concha, where are you? You know, he would sit right here on the sofa. And it was hard. It was very hard. But he kind of learned to deal with it, you know. And but he never really went back to the gym anymore. He was just, you know, broken-hearted.
Canto Robledo passed away in Pasadena, California on November 29th, 1999. He was 86 years old.
Well, I opened the eulogy, I've read it several times. I opened the eulogy by saying that we're going to share some moments in the life of this unique individual, but where do you start? And where do you set the boundaries? Because he had no boundaries. So in that eulogy, I just wrote down all the things he did step by step by step by step, and there were just a whole lot of them. And then it came down. It came down time to where everybody had to have their own opinion. The ones that knew Canto, you know, and we had, when he died, we'd have to remember him all in our own way. Well, as I put down the eulogy, I just remembered him as a warrior. Well, I thought of him as a warrior who went out on his shield. He went out on his shield fighting as best he knew how from a world of darkness, and he gave the life everything he had head on, and you can't ask any more of a man than that. That's how I remember him.
They know they live in a clean life. At least they're not messing around with a bunch of gangs, running the streets like they're doing now. At least they got a place to come. They know that they're doing the right things.
His legacy was to be remembered of helping children, helping the underprivileged children in Pasadena. That was his main goal. The professionalism was secondary. His main goal was to help the kids, get them off the streets. This was, of course, before Boys Club and YMCA and all of those things. He was the first gym in Pasadena. And so all the neighborhood kids began to hear about this blind trainer, and they were either fascinated by him or they wanted to learn to box. And he didn't let them down.
I think that Canto's legacy would be that he was that he had a real strong interest in the welfare of youth, and he wanted to see that they had camps that were available to them, and then he would appeal to the city and the county and different agencies to get equipment to train them there, and then on his own he would take them to different boxing places, and he would put on shows, and he would offer to put on a boxing program at the Boys Club and the YMCA and those sort of things. And at the Pasadena settlement, that was the Latino meeting place for the San Gabriel Valley. And then Canto would offer to put on boxing shows for them. And then he put me as a boxing trainer, and I had a program going there for two months. So he was very generous with his time, and he contributed a lot to the youth of Pasadena.
Canto Robledo's legacy is alive and well in the 21st century. It's being passed on to the next generation of Pasadena youth by a familiar face. Joey Oliveira, the Pasadena Kid, is now a trainer himself.
I love it. And now I got kids coming here, and it's not about the money. It's just side money, you know, help me buy more equipment, keep everything up to date. And I want to keep kids off the streets, you know, give them a place to stay for 2-3 hours, you know, continuing what I do. That's why it's Rose City Boxing Stables. His was Crown City Boxing Stables. You know, just trying to keep his name alive. That's why I'm training fighters. You know, I'm gonna keep the stables going. So we got 3rd generation, hopefully we'll get 4th generation, and so on and so on.
The Robledo name is synonymous with generosity and giving back to the community. It was in this spirit that family member Shannon Robledo started the Canto Robledo Youth Boxing Foundation.
The Canto Robledo Youth Boxing Foundation is something near and dear to my heart. I started the foundation approximately 5 years ago. I went to a local gym, to Villa Park, and I was talking with a friend there who actually runs the gym. While I'm in the office, the kids are coming in and out of his office getting boxing equipment, and these gloves are being used for hours at a time. And I asked him, "This is the only equipment that you have?" He said, "This is the only thing that they provide us." And that's when I had the idea. I said, you know what, it can't be too hard to obtain some of this boxing equipment for the kids. Canto's legacy was about the kids. About helping these kids get off the street, about helping anybody that he came in contact with, whether it be someone to talk to or whether it be someone to train. But the gathering spot was on Manzanita, the Crown City Stable Boxing Gym. To me, his legacy is to give back to the youth, which the youth gave to him.
Do you have any regrets in your life?
No. No, I don't.
the fight. You do what is right, you show them all your might. Let the sound guide you along the way. If you wanna be a champ, you don't stop the fight. You do what is right, you show them all your might. Let the sound guide you